we are live on Facebook. Hey, Ops Bosses. We're really happy to be with you today for Coffee I can't even say it. I didn't have enough coffee today. Coffee with Christy and crew. And I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds to jump on before we start, because I know we had a lot of people registered today. So as you're jumping on, if you want to tell us in the comments if you are an Ops Boss, a Rainmaker, and where you are in the country, that would be awesome. I see people are jumping on slowly. So tell us where you are. Tell us what your questions are. Today we're going to be talking about the holy grail of team portals, which is Google Sites. And Katie and Elizabeth are going to walk us through some really cool stuff. So we're just going to give it a second as you guys are jumping on. I don't see anybody commenting in the chat. Hey, Melissa Oliver, how are you? Good to see you. Go ahead and tell us where you are in the country. Maybe you'll get a referral today. And we'll just wait. 2 minutes. Actually, it's already 3:02. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. So I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to ask my crew to introduce ourselves. So you guys all know me. I'm Christy Belk-Grossman. I'm the owner of Ops Boss Coaching. Super excited to be with you here. I'm really excited also to have one of our coaching clients, Katie Haluk. Did I say your last name right?
Close, Halleck.
Halleck, okay. I was like, in my head, I never call you by your last name when we're coaching. I'm
totally
calling you by your first name. So she's doing something really, really awesome that she shared, and Elizabeth hopped on and decided to do it for her team too, and we're going to walk Hannah through actually starting it for her team today so that you guys can do this too. So, right, we're going to do really hands-on. Before we get started, I want to remind you that we try to do these Coffee with Christy and crew once a month. This is not a class. This is a total mastermind. So any tips you want to have, you want to add, just type them in the comments to help someone else. And then all of these videos reside on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OpsBossCoaching. So make sure you go there and subscribe, so in case you miss the live, you'll actually get notified when we put new stuff up there. And then the last commercial of the day is we have 2 coaching openings right now. So if you're interested in those, message me after this. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to have you guys introduce yourself. So Elizabeth, you want to go next?
Yep, I'm Elizabeth Gilbert from Kansas City, Missouri, with Ron Henderson and Associates. I am the COO of the team. I think we have like 6 people on the team now. It kind of fluctuates. We're looking for more agents, so if you know anybody in the Kansas City area that wants to be on an awesome team with me, send them my way.
Awesome. Hannah.
Yeah, my name's Hannah Perkey. I'm CEO of Evelo Team out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And we do a little over 200 transactions and working on growing as well. So we just added 3 new agents to our team.
Awesome. And Katie.
I am Katie Halleck, like you said, and I work with the Selma CC team in Jacksonville, Florida. Rainmaker CC Underwood. She's been in business for about 13 years. I've been on the team for 3. We service up to Nassau County down to St. Augustine and pretty much everywhere in between. So really, really large area. Team of 13 total, and again, looking to grow. So if anyone has any referrals.
And you guys your goal this year is about 400 transactions, I think.
Yeah. Well, that was goal pre-COVID. So we may have adjusted a little bit, but yeah, we just hit 200, I think actually today. So awesome. Hoping to get to 3 or more.
Good. Okay, good. So this is awesome. I love having the 3 of you on because you guys are all leading different size teams. And one of the things that we talked about in our pre-call is how having this team portal through Google Sites is awesome no matter what size your team is. So if you're listening and it's you and 1 agent, or you're listening and it's you and it's like Stephanie Brackett's teams and you've got 35 people on your team, this is awesome for you. So before we actually dive into the nitty-gritty of it, let's chat, ladies, about why do we need a team portal? What is a team portal? Why do we even need it? And what kind of propelled you, Elizabeth and Katie, to start one? So who wants to jump on that?
So the whole reason why I discovered after I created it. Katie posted her video and I'm like, oh, I need one of those. I'm not really sure why, but I'm going to put this thing together. And then the why became very apparent. My Rainmaker references it daily. Ron gets on there. He's like, and every day he's like, can I tell you how cool this team portal thing is? I'm like, I know, right? So it is a one-stop shop for the agents when they need something. And that something is usually something they would ask us for. Like, hey, what's the title company rate sheet? I need to know the rate on a house that's $300,000. They would normally just ask one of the admin to find that number instead of going and looking it up themselves, because asking was easier. Now that it's posted on the team portal, they just go and look it up. And he's like, I can't tell you how many times I've referenced the team portal now with just little stuff. Like the little things, our EIN number, the Wi-Fi password, like little things like that, up to big things like we have our sales training manual on there. So anything that I would normally have to send to someone or answer a message in Slack or a text or an email, they are now empowered to go find for themselves on the team portal. And that's usually the answer is, hey, where's such and such a thing? Guess what? It's on the team portal. And if it's not on the team portal and they want it on there, I can easily add it. Like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me put that on the portal for you. 5 minutes later, it's up and they're like, excellent.
So here's a question that I got earlier today of, I don't get, what's the difference between, like, we put all our stuff in Google Drive. What's the deal with the team portal? Talk to me about that, because I get that question a lot.
I can answer that one.
Tell them, Katie.
When I screen share, you'll see my portal or my drive versus my portal, and you'll understand 100% why. We were always just, it's in the drive, it's in the drive, it's in the drive. I don't blame them for not wanting to go to the drive, because I can't even find anything. And I'm like the most organized on the team, which isn't saying much, but I'm definitely better than the agents are just naturally. And if I can't find something and it's not right there, yes, you can type it in, but there might be multiple things that say open house and I don't know which one it is. And so it's just so clunky. And so for that, and it's just so much stuff. So I now still use the Google Share Drive that we have. I just use it in a different way just to house things, because I don't want them even really going in there. I want to direct them here because it's much more organized. It's easy. It's an app on their phone. They don't have to search for it. It's literally just right there, and it's pretty, and photos and everything. So
I think that's the compelling feature. That's why I called this the Holy Grail. Like, we're always all looking for, what's that one CRM? What's that one thing? For me, the team portal, the Holy Grail is they're going to use it and they love it. Not only just use it, like they love it. So hearing that feedback from you. You guys said a couple things when we were doing our prep call that I thought were really important on the why side. So one why is what Elizabeth said. It's a win-win in terms of leveraging ourselves and empowering them to get what they need faster and for them to be their own resource. But one of you, I forget who it was, mentioned recruiting and value proposition for recruiting and also retention. Talk to me about that.
So when someone comes on the team, like, this is now such a centralized resource, and it's only available to our team. You have to have ours is kansascityagent.com is our Google powered site. And that's what our email runs off of. So now everything kind of runs off of that. So if you don't have a login to that, you can't access our team portal. And because the reference material is so, like, it's pretty universal, like every agent needs this information to do transactions, to do business, and it's all in one place. If someone's used to having that and they decide, you know what, I'm going to go out on my own, or maybe I want to join another team because I'm not getting enough leads, whatever the excuse is, they're not going to get, like, this doesn't go with them. They can take their sign writers with them because that has their name and phone number on it. I don't want that anymore. But the team portal is something that it doesn't transfer with them. So that's something that is a value proposition, because when you come onto this team, we make it so easy for you to do business that why would you ever leave?
Yeah, I love that, adding value. I mean, that's our job, is to add value through systems, right? So this is like a super sexy looking system. So do we want to, Katie, do you want to share your screen and kind of like take us through a little bit of like, what does your landing page look like? What kind of things are housed in there? And then we're going to move after that into showing Hannah how to actually do it, so that if you don't have one, you can do it. So let me just recap. We're in Google Sites, which you just sign into Google. Katie's going to actually show us that and what it looks like.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just have a tab where it's open, but in order for me to access it, this is the back end side of it. So that's why it's got like all of these funky things from it. That's not what the agents see, of course. But to access it, once you create it, you can literally just go to your drive, and it's my most recent one. So it's right here. And so you can literally just click on that, and it just opens up another tab. It takes you to, for me, it's taking me to the home page, where I can start accessing it, and I can edit everything that way. When the agents log in, this is what it looks like for them. And then down here, this is what it looks like on a computer. And then it's also on the phone.
So you're just bookmarking it on their phone, right? On their home screen?
Yep, and I can do like a quick little like thing in the comments afterwards. It's literally just add to home screen. I don't know about Androids, but for iPhones, all it is just add to home screen. You have to go through it. You have to get to it in Safari, and then it's just add to home screen, and then you can save it onto there, and you can just access it just like an app.
So can you go to the agent view, so we see what does the agent see and what kind of things they would see on that site?
Yeah, so this is going to be the home screen. On our home screen, I put kind of just the basic, most common things. So our address, the Keller Williams address that would go on contracts, broker number, NAID, our office phone number, our ISA phone number, alarm code, front door code, shackle, combo, things like that. That's just like quick, easy, that you might not like in the moment, you need really quickly. We're in 2 market centers. We have a local expansion team, so right there. And then our links to our places, our socials. And then I've got logos, social content. This is a big one for the agents. So actually, our previous marketing girl was phenomenal at content creation. And so she created all of these graphics, as well as like things just for the agents to post if they are just struggling. I don't know what to post on my Facebook. I just need content. So we created all of it for them, because again, our job is to make their lives easier. So if cauliflower can become pizza, you can become a homeowner, and then things for them to write. Yeah. So this is something huge for them to use. And then these are engagement posts for them. Some scripts, our phone list, our buyer and seller guide, and then agreements for kids. And they can just download it. Vendor list, Keller Mortgage, our incentive programs that our team offers, training videos, and then I have agent resources. So I have listing resources, buying, team, our local board things, so we just changed our contract, so stuff like that, open houses. And then you can also search. So if you're looking for, I think it might not let me do it on, yeah, I can't do it on this preview. But you can search, if you just search for lender, it'll take you to the vendor page, to the lender tab.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is what the agents see from their end. And I was really looking for something that is easy to use from their phone too. And so they can still search it from their phone, and it's just the drop down. So phone list, and it takes them straight to that. So they can open it and it'll take them.
Are they using it more on their phones or on their laptops, or both?
Probably both. I would say more so the phone once I showed them how to do it, because they're just always out in the field. So for like vendor list and things like that, probably more so on the phone. But I just constantly talk about it. So whether they're stationary or on the move, they know that they can access it from anywhere.
Cool. Elizabeth, do you want to show yours just to get another snapshot of what kind of another one might look like?
Yep. So this was ours. We started with our mission, vision, values, just because we're trying to ingrain that in our agents again. This is off of I have a huge spreadsheet that tracks all our transactions, and this is a pivot table based on one of those, that huge spreadsheet. So they can always see where we're at, volume and GCI wise. And then I just have links, the same links that are up here, just pretty down here. I actually linked our KW office calendar, which is through the KW intranet, so they can see what's going on at the market center. And then our social media accounts too. This is everything that my client care manager needs to process a transaction in an easy, again, it's all in Drive, and yet it seems easier to access from the portal because you just leave this up all day and you grab what you need when you need it.
It's much more visual. Drive has no visual, and I think
Exactly.
the visual really helps the usability of it.
Exactly. Our vendor list is driven right off of our kansascityagent.com website. This is an iframe by dropping in some code. Essentially, everything in the quotes is what's on the site. That's the website, the web page that I embedded, and everything after that, or before and after that, is just a little bit of HTML code.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that.
We're getting some questions now.
Awesome.
Specific questions. So I think what will help you guys is if we actually kind of, thank you, Elizabeth, and I've cut you off soon, but we'll come back to what we can use it for.
Yes.
Let's go back to square one. If I've never done this, I'm on Google, but I've never used Google Sites before, and let's walk Hannah through actually doing one.
Yeah.
So that people watching know where to start. Because somebody asked, let's see, hold on one second. There was a question. How did you get to this point? So, Beatty, we're going to start exactly from the beginning. So let's, who wants to do that?
Yeah.
To walk Hannah through.
I can do that. So yeah, okay. When you're in your email, which is how I find the easiest. So if you open up your email, which most people have open all day, right? And then in the upper right-hand corner, I call it the waffle, which has all of the apps in it. And then, click on sites. And I will tell you that just watching Katie do a video of knowing where to find it, is what led me down the rabbit hole. Like once I was like, oh, that's where it is. Then I was all over it. And so
we all forget that there's so much power in Google, and we never click those extra buttons.
For sure.
Okay, so we're clicking Google Sites.
Yeah. And then you want the new Google Sites, which is, I don't know what classic looks like. I'm all about the new. So we'll just go with new. And then, so this is what you end up with, is you can start a new site, and it also gives you some templates that you can choose from. I think I ended up doing that team one and just clicking on that, and that created the new site. You can, like, once you get in here and you want to start making it pretty, that's the easy part. I'll tell you, everything is very easy. Like, and there's nothing that you can't undo, so you really can't break this, which I totally love. It's very simple. So yeah, you just enter your whatever you want there, team name, and then you're kind of away and going. Katie and I both put information on the front page that our agents would need. Like I did that too. I put lockbox codes, front door access, yep, all of that stuff that Hannah's prepared with.
I was ready. I'm getting this built out.
Yep.
I know, she's like, I'm doing this.
Very operational.
Yeah. And then,
That's right.
yeah. So like I said, the editing is super simple. There's not a whole lot of choices when it comes to fonts or sizes or any of that. It is super basic, super simple. So if you're looking for more complexity and more customization, this may not be right for you. And yet I think the agents don't necessarily need something super fancy and pretty. They just want easy.
Yes.
And this is easy.
This is the easy button.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's got her now, her main page, her landing page, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And she just hits publish.
Yes. However, well, actually, it doesn't matter. If you want a vanity URL, like I'll just tell you the quick story. We decided on moron.biz, which ends up sounding like moron.biz, because when ron's not enough, you need more ron. It's a joke on our team. It works well, and that's like easy for the agents to remember, right? So you can go get, eveloteamportal.com from GoDaddy or wherever you get your web URLs from, and then when you're in GoDaddy or whatever program, you just forward it to the published site. So go ahead and hit publish.
So just leave it as is for now.
I call it Team Portal on that one,
Okay.
just because it'll be, and yeah, perfect.
Okay. Now
Okay.
say we want to
then I can-
add a tab to the top. We want to put in our scripts.
Yes, so go to pages. Yep. And at the bottom is a plus. Yep. And you want to do new page, call it whatever you want. Yep. And now on, yeah, it's already called scripts. And so if you want to enter a text box, or if you want a pretty picture that, if you want seller scripts and buyer scripts, our agents are very visual, so it is easy to add photos to this or text, whatever you want. If you have all of your scripts, let's say in a,
You may have them in Drive.
right, in Drive as a Google Doc, you can add it right there from Drive. So you can do that and then search for it and find it, or you can go, go through the layers of your Drive to find it, whatever you like.
Okay, so I'm looking at this thinking this looks really simple. Like this is not doing anything difficult.
Yep.
So I want to kind of scroll back to some of the questions. Hannah, feel free to continue doing whatever you want to continue doing on there, but I want to hit some of these questions right now.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, Beatty, we answered. How do we get to this point? Nicole wants to know, is the phone list linked to a Google Doc or a PDF?
So I have it linked to a Google Doc. I just did it from the Drive. So I have a team shared folder that just has really a bunch of junk that's like old in it that I just eventually need to go out and clear out. But the phone list is housed in there. So I just have it in there. And so that whole team shared folder is just a placeholder for all of these things that Hannah's adding, like scripts, phone lists, videos, things like that. You can just link them from there. So then they click on it and then it'll open up a tab that takes them exactly to that Drive link.
And then Elizabeth, you have some that are PDFs, correct?
I do, not as a phone roster. The phone roster, I ended up just putting pictures of people alongside their name and phone number and email address, kind of like a directory, visual directory. But then I don't have that many people on the team. A lot of stuff, yeah, I do just link directly to PDFs or Excel documents or whatever Google lets me create, forms, sheets, docs. All of that's linkable through through that upload section.
Yeah.
So anything that's
can do it
already in
either way.
Drive, you can put onto your site
Okay.
and link to it.
All right. Brooklyn wants to know, on Elizabeth's site, is the volume stats live time, or do you have to manually update?
Live time.
Yeah, so you have it connected through an iframe?
Google.
Is that what?
Yeah, through Google Sheets. So my, I essentially recreated CTE for myself. And so I line item things. And so I have a line item, you know, we have we'll have over 100 transactions this year. So I have 100 lines of data that I then created. You'll just have to Google pivot table and learn how to create one. And then that's a separate tab on that sheet. And I just do that tab as a box. So, and I can, you know what, I'll probably end up doing a YouTube video on that, how to do that anyway. So that might be something.
Awesome. That would be great.
Yeah, if I were to do it, I would just do an update, like set it to the 1st of every month or the 5th of every month where I update it. Because part of me is like the agent, where everything that you just said, it's super easy, but it's too many steps for me, where it's just like, I'm just going to look at CTE. So I just work better just having it on the 5th of every month, update portal with current numbers, something like that.
You probably could link it in so that whatever the CTE thing, there's that link that shows up on the phone. I used to give that to my Rainmaker. You could probably just put that link right in here so it would be live.
True.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to do that. Okay. And then next question was from Buffy. Do you have a Google site for clients and one for agents?
No. So this is strictly an agent team thing. Like I said, you have to have a login to our shared drive in order to access this site at all. And when you publish this, I think actually, Hannah, if you'll click the drop down next to the word published in the upper right hand corner, publish settings. Yeah.
It's, I was playing with this the other day because someone asked me this question. It's in where there's a little person and a little plus sign next to the settings.
There you go.
Click that and then click on the change right there.
Yep.
And then that published site Evelo team, if you click that down, you can change it. So the Evelo team right now, it's just everyone who has your domain as theirs, and then you can restrict it so you can give it to specific people or public. Mine's the same way that this is, so it's only people who are on the team, and then whenever I was setting it up, I shared it with a couple people, so you can grant access to view. Like I think I granted access to Christy once to view it and things like that. But overall, this is pretty much what we do too.
Excellent.
Yeah, so Amy, that should answer your question. She asked, is this live to just team members? Yes. And Beatty said, how do you make it accessible only by your agents? So this is how you do that.
Yep.
Perfect. Sean, yes, we are recording this and it'll be posted on YouTube at some point, but it'll stay in the group. Okay, so what else do they need to know about the setting up of it? And then we'll move into talking about all the different things we can use it for.
So
will you guys talk through the tabs across the top? Because I think that's something you both have set up really well.
Yeah, so that's what I was just about to say actually, is I would recommend go ahead. So it's going to be the pages one. So you'll just add pages as you'd like. This one's set up differently than, so click on the 3 little arrows up at the top left, or the 3 lines at the top left of yours, right there.
Here.
Yeah, so yours is going to be over there. I'm not sure I did a blank one, so mine's a little bit different, so that might be why mine show up that way, but all of my pages are what it is. So I would are the ones that are across the top, so I would kind of do an outline of what you want, so scripts, training videos, vendor list, team list, phone list, things like that. I would kind of create the bones of it. So then all you have to do is add to it. So Hannah, I would recommend kind of creating a list of everything you want, like I just said, and just having pages. So then you really just have to fill in the pages once you create what you want. And then you can always add to it. And then Elizabeth and I were saying yesterday, you can just click and drag. So if you click on logos to use, you can drag it to the top, drag it to the bottom, so you can put where you want certain things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Katie,
And
do you want to
Elizabeth,
share
I think-
your screen to show us on your screen? Is that easier than having Hannah do it?
Yeah, I can show you.
I think one of the cool things that came up in our conversation yesterday was typically any of you who coach with us and who follow Stephanie know that we're big believers in the 5 steps to create a system, right? So we want to do, and Katie's like, oh God, you're just going to talk about this again.
No, that's why I said
but we
build
want
bones.
Right, we want to start with what's the purpose? What's our vision outcome? How can we say that we killed it? Then we want to brainstorm quantity, not quality, and then then create our system. And what is the next step, the next step, the next step? And then is it scalable? So on this, the thing that I like is that it's so super easy. If you think these are the 5 tabs I want at the top and you start building them out and you realize those aren't the right tabs, you can just drag and rearrange them. Super easy.
Yeah. And it'll stay the same until you publish it. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're doing this. If you make changes, you have to republish it. Like you can do as many changes as you want and it'll save it next time you go in, but it won't show on the outside view, like for your agents, until you republish it. And it'll show you, well, I didn't make any changes, so that's why I did that. But say I move this up. I moved it up on my end, and so once I published it, it'll show the draft that I just did, and then the current publish. So just something to make note of.
So the publish is like a save button almost.
Yeah, it'll automatically save on your end for like next time you go in there, but it won't show to your agents until you republish it. But for the pages for me, so this is the exact same place. So I just added a new page and I just did vendor list 2. Is what I'll just do. And it put it right there. And then these little 3 dots is where you can add a sub page. So that's how you get to this drop down. And so that's what I have on mine. So I'm not going to use it just because that's just kind of to show you how to do it. Okay, I'll go back to it later. But my vendor list, so I have my main vendor list, and what I have for these, I was kind of playing with a couple different ways of what I liked. So what I did is once I made my page, I went to the insert and I did the collapsible text. And this is the same thing that you can just click and drag to wherever you want. So it'll take it right there. I'm going to delete it, but say I just added this title one. This is going to be just like what these are. And then on the collapsible part, I put all of the information. So I put the title company, our main title company, their address, our contacts, and then same thing with the other one. And then you can make it collapsible or you cannot. So it'll stay there if you turn it off. Otherwise, it'll collapse like that. So I did that for all of mine. And I broke it down because we did like a big brain dump just to make sure we had our most recent like updated vendor list, because that's another issue that we had a lot. And so this makes it super easy to keep track of the vendor list, and we can do it really specific. So handyman, not licensed, and then licensed and insured, and then specifically to who does new constructions, who does renovations, things like that. So we did a ton of different ones. And then I added a sub-page drop down. So that's our main one for most of our agents. We have one agent that's our expansion agent. It's like a local expansion, but it is about 45 minutes. So a lot of people don't go up there. It is like another county and city. And so that's Nassau County. So I did this exact same thing, essentially.
So Michelle, I think this answered your question Michelle asked, can you add sections? For example, under vendor list, can you have home inspection that they select and it would bring them down to where the home inspectors are listed on that page? Although I think she's asking about, like, can I click it and it drops down to where it is? Elizabeth, I think you have that on your site.
Yeah, you can do that. Katie, if you'll click on insert right next to pages, yeah. Right down there, table of contents. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know that.
Okay, so that's how you do a table of contents is, and when you click on that, it will take you down. How that works is how you do your headers. So when you select what type of text it is, it will say header, subheader, text.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll show you that.
It's based on headers.
So this would be heading,
Yep.
and then subheading is that.
Yeah.
And
so that's how the table of contents it reads it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
That's super cool.
That was super cool.
But I like Katie's idea better. I would not do a table of contents for.
It's just too much, and that's why I would do like the collapsible text, because it doesn't show everyone's information at once. You can just go to WDO and then do the drop down and get everyone that way. And then if you did it this way, if you had like a sub page for each one, that would just be way too long.
I think the more white space you have and the more visuals you have, the more likely the agents are to use it.
I would agree.
And this is going back to that phone list question. This is how I have ours set up. So I did a main page, which there's nothing on, and then a sub page of our phone list, and then the brokers, like the brokerage information, and that's much shorter. So that's easier for them. But for our phone list, since it's constantly updating whenever someone leaves or whatever it is, they can just click on that and it'll open up a new tab. And this is in the drive.
Okay. And then what else do we need to talk about? Are there other questions? If you guys have other questions on the mechanics of it, otherwise we'll move into maybe what are some of the other things, all the different uses that you guys are using it for.
Katie, can you go back to where, okay, so that is embedded on your site essentially. So you can open it up in Drive if you wanted to, or you can just see the information. It's all right.
Yeah, and you can make it smaller or bigger. So like the phone list, I made pretty big just for that reason, so that they'd be able to see it. But you can change the size to however big you want. Don't judge our Wi-Fi password. But you can, I make like this one specifically really big so that they can see it. But for what's some of the other ones? So agent resources, click listing resources. Let me go here. So checklist for taking a listing. Like this has a ton of stuff, but we have like sample descriptions. So that they're gonna open up, but if it was big enough, then they could read it that way. So like that would be one.
So the ones that open up, that they're opening up in Drive, are they opening up in read-only mode so that they don't screw them up?
Yes, all of those ones. Our entire drive, our shared folder drive where all of this stuff is housed, is just for read only. So I'll show you, and this goes back to that reason why this instead of that is, this is how clunky our stuff is. Like we have, and there's like links to all this, like I don't even know what half of this stuff is. This is old logos that we don't even use. So you can see it's just a lot of stuff. And so all of the stuff that's in my portal, I just dumped in here just so that they'd be able to access it and have it just view only.
Yeah, I mean, just when you picture yourself, when I'm building something for the agents, I always want to be thinking about what are they doing? What are they trying to achieve? Where are they when they're using the system? Are they in their car? Are they on their laptop? Are they in front of a client? How easy can we make it? And when we look at that drive, like literally, and knowing most of them are high D, high I, they're going to look at that and their eyes are going to spin. Like, I don't know what I need, so I'm just going to ask Katie. Mm-hmm. But when they look at the portal with the pictures and not a lot of type on there, it looks really easy. And I think that's why you guys are getting such buy-in from using it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's
I
talk
think
about,
too, like,
go ahead, Hannah.
I was just gonna say, like, really simplifying for them where to find the right things. So Katie, you were talking about all those items in Google Drive, and I think agents are so good at finding the stuff you don't want them to.
Mhm.
You know, so like if you say, hey, here's the link for this new form, and you want to keep the old draft, they always find that old one. And so that's what I love about this, is it's like one centralized place for every item and every type of communication. And I think sometimes that's hard for them to toggle between, you know, YouTube and email and Google Drive, whereas here you're like, only look here, like always go. And it sounds like you guys are training them over and over, like go to the team portal, go to the team portal.
And I started putting my onboarding stuff in here too. I don't know if we're going to get to that. I don't know if you have that kind of on the radar, Christy, but that was one of my big things. As I was talking to Amanda Dahl about it actually, and she was talking to me about Portal. We did it during quarantine. That was her quarantine project. And then she had that idea and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing, because I was trying to revamp mine, but I didn't want to add another place like, okay, go to this Google Classroom, go to this place. I just have it all housed right here. So section 1, this is like your 30 days. And so you're going to do boom, boom, boom. And it's all in one place.
Let's go into that. Click us into that so we can see the onboarding.
So yeah, this is our 30, 60, 90, just like kind of the outline. I give them a manual checklist just like this, and it's exactly what is expectations set in the beginning. So like 2 open houses a week, things like that. But you'll see required training classes. So how to open a Supra, that's in here. And so when I'm sitting down with them, all of their stuff is in this new agent info. So when I'm sitting down with them, I'm doing section 1 and section 2 with them. And this is just a part of my checklist. So they have on, whenever they're sitting down with me, as I tell them, okay, go to section 1, fill out everything on there. And so they're my favorites. I have a JOT form, a PDF JOT form link to it, emergency contact. And these are all just Google forms. And then videos, and then I have a little quiz in there for them. And then otherwise, section 2, section 3. So section 3, this is where they have all of their videos. So how to open a Supra, a dot loop overview, FirePoint. They have to listen to all of these Chris Suarez mega open houses. And things like that. And then
are all your videos hosted in YouTube, or are they hosted on your Drive?
So I'm working on getting them all over to YouTube. So our training videos, all of these are in Drive. We just have 3 different seller consults with 3 different personalities, 3 very different agents, a buyer consult, and all of that is in their thing in here. So 31 through 60, it says watch the buyer videos or whatever, and I tell them team portal with an arrow, training videos with an arrow, buyer consult. So it literally is dummy proof. And so all of these ones I did put into YouTube. And so all you do is just, whenever I do that, you just come down here and you can just do YouTube and search it. So if you uploaded it, it'll be there. I'm not logged into it, but otherwise you can post it right there, or you can just embed a video by URL or embed code.
Okay, Tally has a question. Are there different levels of share? Like, does ops have access to everything and agents have limited access, or would you recommend having a separate ops site?
I don't know the correct answer to that. There may be a way to restrict access. I have not been able to find it, and I don't believe Elizabeth has either. So this is just for agents. Anything that's in here, I know that agents will see. So you have to make sure that you don't put anything like personal in there or like private.
So if you wanted to, you can build 2 portals. You can use one portal for your operations manual and one portal for your team portal.
Absolutely.
And the ops manual could have, you know, like the way Stephanie does it is what we do, how we do it, who we are.
I actually love that idea. I may do that.
Yeah, so you have everything in one place for your operations manual. Okay, so let's talk about what other thing, I want you to blow my mind with all the different things that you could use first, let's start with, what are the things that your agents love the most as you rolled this out? What are the things that they like? Like, what are the first things I should put on my site?
Forms to fill out.
Yeah.
Like, that's the number one. Like, ours was listing docs request form, because our admin puts together the listing documents for the agents and sends them to their clients. And I need to know, it's just a Google form. Who do I send it to? What's their address? What's their disc profile? It's a form you fill out on the team portal, and away you go.
And if you've already got that built-in Jot forms, you can just link to your Jot forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what else? Listing request form. What else? Let's just reel them off.
Yeah, I have a photo request form. So when the house is ready for photos, the agent tells the admin, hey, go order photos. And then the admin sets it up. I have one for offer documents request. It's not often that the admin write offers on behalf of the agents, but in the rare case that we do, I don't want to have a back and forth conversation. I want all the information in one place. That's what the forms are for. Agent referral forms. So if we need to send a referral to someone else off the team, or we're receiving a referral off the team, there's a form for that. There's a form to send brownies as a reward for a past client or a Sphere member that they refer business to us. We send them a little brownie package. And then I actually have an office supplies form that says, fill this out if you need more sign writers, more open house signs, more special pens that you love, right? That kind of stuff. Listing and buyer packets. And it's just one place for them to go. And all of that gets emailed to me. So I receive an email whenever, and my other admin does too.
And yours are all set up in Google Forms.
Yep.
Okay.
Embedded on the site. Yep.
And I have all of those as Jot forms. So it's essentially the same thing. So on top of that, we have like buyer under contract, new listing, listing under contract, listing cancellation, buyer cancellation, all of those things. And Stephanie posted like her list of Jot forms in the group a while ago. And so that's kind of everything that she had, I had, and then I incorporated a couple like team member recognition, stuff like that. So I would recommend going in and diving into what everyone has as Jot forms. And if you haven't done either Google Forms or Jot forms, definitely do that.
Okay. Awesome.
Email templates are another big one.
What was it?
Email templates.
Ah.
So I have certain emails that I would like our agents to send whenever their client goes under contract. It's an email to the co-op agent and it's an email to their client. And when those emails go out, that's the admin's trigger. She gets copied on those emails that now we're in play and everything is in .loop, is the expectation. But the agents were always forgetting where they put the email template. Like they either couldn't figure it out, or they would just forget that they already had it set up and then would just try and guess, or they wouldn't even try to guess, they would just not do it. And so now that it's on the team portal, all they have to do is go get it and copy paste, and they actually can remember that. Like the answer is now team portal. Like any question that you have, it's on the portal.
What else can we put on the portal that we're not?
Value proposition. So that's something that we're really focused on right now because it's such a crazy market. So why do people want to use us when there's a million people on our board? So if people use us, then they get a free AC service with a local company that's only doing it with us and I think one other team. So that's a reason. Keller offers, Keller mortgage, so cash offers, things like that. And then if they offer like flexible commission, so if we have both sides, we can lower the commission a little bit, things like that. Just so they're all in one place and they don't forget, or like if they're just struggling a little bit with like, I need to reach out to this person, or what can I do if I have a buyer, like, and they need a little bit of extra help. We have a seller COVID protection plan right now. So like doing pre-inspections before going on the market. And it kind of outlines all of that. So what the commission structure is if we're paying for things up front for our COVID sellers, things like that. That's always right there. Anything that we roll out, I put right there for them.
What other questions? We still have a lot of people on the call. If you guys want to type your questions in the comments, we're happy to answer them. Let's move. We'll come back and talk about more uses, but let's talk about, okay, we've got this great idea. We've bought in. We now see how easy it is. We're ready to do it. How do we get buy-in from our team? How do we train our team? Like, what does that process look for you guys?
Katie, go ahead and tell how you did yours, and then I'll tell how I did mine.
So I kind of did the same way whenever we were introducing job forms, is I kind of teamed up with 1 to 2 of our lead agents who are the busiest, because I know if they do it, number 1, it's easy enough for agents, and number 2, they'll use it. And so then on top of that, once the team sees that they're using it, when I introduce it, I can say, Laurel or Sharmini could be like, hey, this is awesome. You all need to use this. Like, I'm doing it. And then they're like, oh, well, I mean, if they can do it, then I can do it because they're so busy or whatever it is. Then it's a top down from the agent side of it. And just get them to help you build it. Like, hey, try this out. Is there anything, like, play with it for a couple of days. I'm going to be working on it. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like, and kind of do like a test run for them. Just don't introduce it too soon, because if you introduce it too soon and it's not ready, the agents aren't going to want to use it because it's not going to be beneficial for them. So wait till at least the meat, like some of the good juicy meat stuff is in there, because then they will automatically be trained to go to that. And then as they see more stuff, they're like, oh, this is cool. This is in here. I was about to text Katie for it, but it's already in here. That kind of thing.
I love that.
I sat mine down in a team meeting and said, I built this for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I walked them through it just like I walked you guys through it and said, this is in here, this is in here, this is in here. All you have to do is come here. Here's the URL. It's good to go. And they just started using it. And any update that I have, I will either do a screen video or just a screenshot of what I added, and I email it to everyone and say, this is now in the portal. And they're using it like it's.
That's the thing. I think it's so easy that it sells itself.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you said, Katie, about having, like, who are the influencers on your team? Who are the people that are going to be your advocates? And there was a Seth Godin book. What's the Seth Godin book that talks about sneezers? Like, who are the sneezers? The people that are sneezers are the ones that sneeze and infect everyone else, but we want them to be infected in a positive way. We want the excitement to be contagious.
Mm-hmm.
So who are the people that are the positive, contagious people on your team that will actually sell it for you?
And then one other.
I think
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one other suggestion when you first roll it out to get people to buy in is to take their phones at a team meeting while someone's talking, do whatever, put all your phones in a pile, write your password down on a sticky. I'm going to add it to your home screen and put it on the first page of their home screen of their iPhone. And so all they have to do is just click it and it's right there. They don't have to remember the URL, even though SEC Agent Portal is easy to remember. They're going to forget it. So if it's just right there like an app, they just click on it. They don't have to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, love that.
And I was just going to say, Elizabeth, I think you said this yesterday, that it gives you such a yes factor, because if they say, hey, it'd be really great if this was here, it's so customizable that I think almost always you can be like, yeah, we can make that happen for them.
Yep. Yeah. It's amazing. I say no most of the time, but this thing, like, I'm always finding, like, what else do you want? What else do you want? Yes, yes, yes. And like, it actually feels good to put something out there that they actually will use. And that's the exciting part for me too, is, hey, I created something that they actually love and want to use. It's not just another, hey, you got to track your numbers. Like,
right.
Well, and I think that's such a great lesson for us as we're developing systems, right? Are the systems that work for us? Are they systems that work for everyone, to make everyone better, to allow everyone to do more business, to allow everyone to have an easier life? Like, are we asking that every time we create a system? so that it's working for everyone. That's what I loved hearing the stories from you guys about my agents coming in going, oh, can you add this? Can you add that?
Yep.
Like, that's cool. Another question came in. Can you add another person as admin/editor of the site?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, Michelle. Good question.
Be careful who you add so that they don't mess it up. Like my Rainmaker is added on there, but she has to ask me permission if she touches it. So just be careful because they will mess it up.
Yes, they will.
This is my baby, so everyone knows, like, don't touch it.
Hands off.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys have more questions, type them in because we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon. What else have we not talked about that we should talk about that people would want to know?
I added a recruiting tab specifically for my Rainmaker, and those are worksheets and deliverables, graphics that he can use when he's talking to recruits on the phone that he can email to other people, or he can screen share, or if he wants to print it, if someone's coming into our office to talk about joining the team, then he has access to all of those on a recruiting page, which he loves.
Do you want to share your site again and show us the sales training manual that you have in there too?
Yeah. So
opposite side of that recruiting though, just real quick, is think about if you're recruiting an agent from another team or a single agent, whatever, imagine their shock and the wow factor that they're going to get when they're sitting down with you or your Rainmaker or whoever, and they show them, hey, this is something that our agents get. Like, that's super powerful.
Yeah. So organized.
So I created this is our sales training manual, and it's just a Google Doc. It's over 100 pages. It's very, very long. And the only way to see it is to go into the preview mode. And so Ron will sit down with a new agent and pull this up on his laptop. The agent has it printed in a 3-ring binder. And this is that table of contents that we were talking about earlier. When you click on this, now it works better on the live site than it does here. For some reason, it does this jumpy thing. But then when you click on it, it takes you right down to that page of the book. So
is that the table of contents thing?
That's the table of contents.
So that's what somebody asked earlier.
Yeah. And so this is everything that we walk an agent through. It's just on the site. So if they forget or they don't have their binder with them, they pull up the phone and it works just the same on their phone. They can go down to the script section and go, okay, what's the script section say about whatever? So that's the nice.
So you're empowering not only the agents to be great agents, you're empowering the leaders on your team to make leadership easier.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more questions. Nicole wants to know, on the app, I just put my portal on my home screen, and when I click on it every time, it's prompting me to log in, even though I'm already logged into my email on my phone and have shared access to the page. Will the agents have to log in on their phone every time?
It doesn't, like, for me, sometimes it does have me log in, but a lot of times it isn't every single time. Maybe, like, I have to do it maybe once a day if I log in a couple of times throughout the day, but it's just logging into their email. And that's because it has to, like, in order to have access to it, you have to have the Selling with CC email. So it's just the privacy setting. So unless you make it public and you maybe only share it with those people, then that would be the only thing.
Okay, and then Buffy wants to know, can you go over how to add the Google Sheet line item to update automatically? Buffy, are you talking about the pipeline numbers?
I think so.
Okay.
That's pretty
That
easy.
might be, I think you're gonna do, that's a little more complicated, the pivot table, and maybe we'll tackle that at a later date.
You know, that was actually, so here's the spreadsheet that I have, is a huge thing of data. And then this is what I actually am sharing. So when you go to the team portal to add something from Drive, and I look for my activity summary, which is what the spreadsheet's called. All right, that inserted the whole thing. Somehow I got the tab in there. Here. So you can cancel that. So in the settings box, all I did was change which sheet I wanted to share. So now I'm just sharing that particular tab in here.
And not all the data behind it.
Yep. And then I just scrunched it down so it looked decent. And now anytime I update this, anytime I update this gets updated automatically, as does the team portal.
Perfect. And then Buffy also asked, can you give us a how-to for tracking / pipeline for transparency? I don't know what you're asking. Do you guys understand what she's asking?
I think you could. I mean, I have agents tracked individually on separate tabs. If I wanted to do transparency, I could put their tab on their particular page in the portal that everyone could see. So if that's something that your team buys into, I don't know that all teams want all members seeing everyone's stats, but maybe that is what you do, like that drives a competitive nature, and visibility does lead to accountability.
It's a great way for any kind of contest that you're running, that you could just for that month have those numbers pop up on the main page of the portal. What you just said reminded me of another comment that you made yesterday that I thought was cool, which is on Elizabeth's team, individual agents have their own page. So if you have a smaller team, for example, when we only had 10 agents on our team, each agent had a customized listing presentation and a customized buyer presentation, so they could have it just on their page that was for them. So you can do that too. Buffy said our agents track their numbers in Google Sheets, so I was just looking for that to import to the portal. So I think we answered that.
Yep, you can totally do that.
Okay, well, we're at the end of our hour. Is there anything you guys want to wrap with? Last words?
I think one thing you mentioned earlier, Christy, is just other uses. And I think, was it Katie that you said that you guys maybe use this for like some sort of buyer seminar or whatnot? So I think once you learn Google Sites, my guess is you're going to see like 10 other ways you can apply it externally for your business too.
Even if you just start with your vendor list, like do something small and then show people what it can do, and that will totally get buy-in too. Like just create one page and see how easy it is, and then it will snowball from there and you'll make time for it because it is fun to put together.
Well, so I want to challenge you guys to come back here. You guys all saw what Katie posted, which is what prompted this hour that we just spent together. I'm going to challenge you. Today's the 12th. What day of the week is it? Are we Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Let's say by next Wednesday, take one step, do your main page or one tab and post it in the Be a Boss group. It's going to give other people ideas. The more people post, the more ideas, and we're going to all see how easy it is if you guys give us your results, right? So I always tell people an average assistant goes to training and really enjoys the training, and an ops boss actually takes action. So I want to see how many ops bosses we have in the group, and I want to see you guys post. So I think we'll wind up. Thank you guys so much for being such great implementers and action takers and fail forwarders and all those things that I love. I think you gave us a lot to think about, and I think it looks really easy.
Yeah, totally is.
Good. Okay, good. Well, you guys also let us know what other things we should be talking about on our Coffee with Christy and Crew, and we actually have one planned for September that's a really, really extra special one with Stephanie Brackett, and I won't tell you what it is yet, but it's coming, and you guys are going to be really excited about it. It's on the personal growth side. So tell us any other topics you want, and we will circle back and make it happen, and you guys have a great bossy week. Thank you for hosting us, Elizabeth.
Yes, my pleasure. Bye-bye.